Hey, I'm Shay and welcome back to my channel, Books with Shay. So today we're doing kind of a casual video. We're gonna hang out in my kitchen a little bit and I am going to have some tea. So if you guys want to pause the video and make yourself a cup of tea, this is a new series that I'm doing on my channel called Tea for Two, and it wouldn't be complete if you didn't have some tea or coffee or something as you join me for a couple of book reviews. So pause right now, I'll give you a minute, and go make some tea, and we're gonna roll the footage of me making my tea a little bit earlier. So basically this new series that I'm trying out on my channel is called Tea for Two because we're gonna drink some tea together and I'm gonna review two books that I recently read. So I'm excited to be back here. I decided to do a more low-key kind of video where we're just hanging out in my kitchen, where it's kind of casual, not a big deal, because I was so excited to come back. I missed you guys so much between about 75% of the way through Vlogmas when everything fell apart for me and now being back, but I'm so glad that I'm learning how to take time when I need time, but show back up when I am ready to be here. And I'm so ready to talk to you guys about books. And today is inauguration day and I am just, it's a good day. It's a hopeful day. Like it's gonna be a good day. So let's talk about some books. So I'm gonna talk about two books, like I said, that I've read recently. One of them is an advanced listener's copy that I received through Libro FM, and the other one is a book that came out recently that I actually read physically, and I'm gonna talk about them in the reverse order of how I read them because I wanna talk about the lower star rating before I talk about the higher star rating so that it gets better over time so that you guys have something to kind of look forward to. I'm also going to talk about some song suggestions that I have to kind of go alongside these books, songs that I'm really into right now that kind of reminded me of these stories. Let me know if you guys like that, but a lot of times when I'm reading, songs will come to mind or things that I have listened to in the past will come to mind and they give me the same kind of feeling as the book that I'm reading. I don't know if that happens for you guys, but I wanted to let you in on some of those songs that kind of come to mind when I'm thinking about these books. So first, we are going to talk about the book First Comes Like by Alisha Rai. This is the third book in the Modern Love series. I'm not sure how many books there are going to be. The first one was The Right Swipe. The second one was Girl Gone Viral. And then the third one is First Comes Like. And this is following another character in the series that we've seen kind of off to the side. And this one brings her to the forefront, as series like this tend to do, where they kind of shift the spotlight from character to character in their kind of romantic journey. And I loved The Right Swipe. It was so good. I think I gave it 4 stars or so. I've talked about it several times on this channel. It's right up my alley for the type of like romantic kind of rom-com chick lit read that I tend to really like, and it was so good. There were so many things I liked about it. I think the only problem I had with that one, the reason why I didn't rate it 5 stars, is because the main character of that one, who I believe her name's Rhiannon, is going through something and it addresses that thing over and over and over and over again with very little progress in between addressing it. And so every single time it seems like she should make some progress or would take a step forward, it goes back to that same place of what she's struggling with, and the progression does not happen throughout the book as I feel like it should have. Like, I feel like when you're reading a story, you might have like kind of like a zigzag of progression going towards the end, but you want it to be on an upward trend, like getting to the place where the character comes to terms with what's going on, or, you know, something, but it didn't do that for me. But I really love the romance. I love the romantic interest. I love the setting of it. And so it was really good for those reasons. But we're not here to talk about that book. We're here to talk about First Comes Like, which unfortunately I did not like. And I hate that. I know you guys know that I have a really hard time reviewing books that I don't love, but I think it's important to tell you, especially because this one hasn't come out yet, if this was something that was on your TBR. But I thought of it so that you can make a more informed decision about if this is something that you think that you might like. So let's talk about it. I'm gonna start by reading you the synopsis from Goodreads, and then we're gonna talk some, but first, let me have a little bit of tea. Also, let me talk about the tea that I'm drinking in case you're interested. So I thought for my first tea for two, I would drink one of my old favorites because I also want to use this time to give you guys kind of tea recommendations. And today I'm drinking Buttermint by Twinings, and you guys know I drink a lot of Twinings tea, but this is Buttermint. It is like a mint tea with vanilla. It's like a creamy mint tea. It can definitely stand cream if you like cream. I just put sugar in it and that's enough for me, but it is so tasty, especially if you love mint tea. So that's what I'm having today. So let's read the synopsis and discuss. So this says, the author of The Right Swipe and Girl Gone Viral returns with a story about finding love in all the wrong inboxes. Beauty expert and influencer Gia Ahmad has her eye on the prize, conquering the internet today, the entire makeup industry tomorrow, and finally proving herself to her big, opinionated family. She has little time for love and even less time for men in her private messages, until the day a certain international superstar slides into her DMs and she falls hard, fast. There's just one wrinkle: he has no idea who she is. The son of a powerful Bollywood family, soap opera star Dev Dixit is used to drama, but a strange woman who accuses him of wooing her online, well, that's a new one. As much as he'd like to focus on his Hollywood fresh start, he can't get Gia out of his head, especially once he starts to suspect who might have used his famous name to catfish her. When paparazzi blast their private business into the public eye, Dev is happy to engage in some friendly fake dating to calm the gossips and dazzle her family. But as the whole world swoons over their relationship, Gia can't help but wonder, can an online romance turned offline fomance ever become love in real life? So, reading the synopsis, I was sure that I would absolutely love this. I love the fake dating trope. I really like the idea of this like catfish kind of situation where he has no idea who she is. There was kind of some mystery and some suspense in that, and I feel like the base for this storyline was very interesting but was not well executed. So it's like hard for me to even pinpoint the things that I didn't like about this. Let me first start by saying that this takes place with two people that are of a culture that I am not a part of and that I don't know very much about. And so maybe this seemed unrealistic to me because it is not my cultural experience, but I believe that she is Pakistani and I'm not sure where he is from, but I know that they're both of cultures where it is commonplace or a common practice to have an arranged marriage. And so that might affect how realistic the storyline would be. If you are somebody that is of a culture that is like that, you might have a better understanding than I had going into it. A lot of the twists and turns of the plot felt contrived to me, and on top of that, it seemed very insta-lovey in every single iteration of the romance. So in the first iteration where she is falling for him via texting him and he's not willing to meet her or FaceTime or anything like that, that seemed insta-lovey. Like the level of infatuation that she was feeling for how much she was getting back in the messages just didn't seem realistic to me, and the messages that were put in the book felt very copied and pasted. It seemed like he went online and searched poems about beauty and then copied and pasted them to her, so it didn't feel very realistic to begin with, and for that to cause her to fall in love with him seemed a little weird to me. Then when they meet, the way that he responds towards her feels insta-lovey. When they decide to fake date, the way that they interact with each other nothing felt authentic, and that's a huge deal for me. Like, I really want to feel authenticity in romance, even if it happens quickly. Quickly does not bother me, but inauthentic bothers me, and I didn't like that. I also didn't like that the story felt very incomplete. Like I was missing major details to make what happened make sense to me. And then on top of that, the reason for them going into this kind of fake dating thing is because they both care what people think to some extent, and the resolution of it felt very much to me like we've never cared what people thought anyway, which doesn't make sense for you to make like the whole basis of a story one thing and then the resolution be the opposite thing, with there not being like any transportation from point A to point B. I wish I had more positive things to say, because I've really liked Alicia Rye's work in the past. I really did want to support her in this, but of the 3 books in this series, this is definitely my least favorite one, and it made me question if I would pick up anything by her that she released in the future, which is so sad because she, after The Right Swipe, became an Instabuy author for me, and then after Girl Gone Viral, I was like, we'll see where it goes. And now after First Comes Like, I don't know that I will continue to read her as an author. But if you like the fake dating trope, which I do as well, if you are somebody who doesn't mind serious insta love and you are looking for a light romance read, then this might be one that you pick up and try. I don't feel like it takes a lot of time to get through. I don't feel like that's time of my life I'll never get back. Like I read it, I didn't like it, it was fine. If you're someone who dislikes insta love, I would definitely stay away from this. And other than that, I feel like why not give it a try if it sounds interesting to you, and let me know what you think in the comments down below, because I'm really interested to see if this was just a me thing or if this was an everyone thing, like if this was popular opinion. So this one comes out next month, I believe. Yes, it'll be out February 16th, 2021. So I'm really sad I gave that one 2 stars. However, I do still feel like I have a little song pairing that kept coming to mind with this. So the song Tenderness by Jay Sum, which I will put a photo so you can find it here, and a link. I'm not sure how to link songs on Spotify, but if I can figure it out, I'll link it in the description down below. But I felt like this song really reminded me of First Comes Like. So first of all, the first verse says, "Tell me, did you fall at first glance? Do you think you'll take a chance? Do you think on the weekend I could know? Show me before you haunt me on the screen. Will my affection pull the strings? Another forgotten memory." And then the chorus says, "I'm feeling like we've just begun. Nothing's ever good enough. Tenderness is all I've got. I'm feeling like we just begun. Nothing's ever good enough. Tenderness is all I've got." And I feel like those lyrics for sure. So this is one, sometimes it's the feeling of the melody, sometimes it's the beat, sometimes it's the way that the entire composition makes me feel. For this one, lyrically, I feel like it tied in really closely to the plot of First Comes Like. And so, I don't know, I'm not sure what genre Jay Sum is considered. She is really good. So if you have not listened to her, definitely someone that you should try. So Rolling Stone describes the style of her music as indie rock turning the dial left a decade or two, channeling the lo-fi romanticism of light FM radio, yet a purveyor for soft rock nostalgia. So that's, if that sounds interesting to you, give Tenderness by Jay Sum a try, because I feel like it definitely ties into the story. Now let's move on to a book that I liked so much more. We're going to talk about You Have a Match by Emma Lord. I am so excited to talk about this. I rated this 4 stars. Emma Lord is the same author that wrote Tweet Cute, and I also really liked that last year. I feel like she is one of my favorites, one of my go-tos for YA contemporary stories. So let me read you the synopsis on this, and then we will talk about it. So it says, when Abby signs up for a DNA service, it's mainly to give her friend and secret love interest, Leo, a nudge. After all, she knows who she is already: avid photographer, injury-prone tree climber, best friend to Leo and Connie, although ever since the BEI, or big embarrassing incident with Leo, things have been awkward on that front. But she didn't know she's a younger sister. When the DNA service reveals Abby has a secret sister, shimmery-haired Instagram star Savannah Tully, it's hard to believe that they're from the same planet, never mind the same parents, especially considering Savannah, queen of green smoothies, is only a year and a half older than Abby herself. The logical course of action: meet up at summer camp, obviously, and figure out why Abby's parents gave Savvy up for adoption. But there are complications. Savvy is a rigid rule follower and total narc. Leo is the camp's co-chef, putting Abby's growing feelings for him on blast, and her parents have a secret that threatens to unravel everything. But part of life is showing up, leaning in, and learning to fit all of your awkward pieces together, because sometimes the hardest things can also be the best ones. What a great synopsis. I didn't read that before. As you guys know, I often like going into things blind, and this was no exception. I definitely went into this blind and I was so pleasantly surprised. I don't know what my hair is doing over here, but I was so pleasantly surprised by this. So I love the idea of secret sister that you meet at summer camp, like the Parent Trap trope situation. And it was kind of Parent Trappy, but not in the way that you would think, like not in the way where they're trying to get their parents back together per se, but there's kind of some of that. Oh, what a wicked we web. Oh, what a wicked web we weave, or whatever. This was so good. I feel like the premise is one that is not overdone, even though the Parent Trap is kind of a trope. The secret sister that you find through a DNA test is something that I haven't seen done a lot in literature that I have been reading as of late. And so I loved that. I love the idea of finding yourself as enough in the midst of everything that you think you want to be, seeing that in someone else and wishing that you were that. There is some Filipino representation in this, and that was nice to see. There were so many things that I loved about this. Love the summer camp setting. It felt very light and carefree. It had the perfect balance for me for YA, where there were some heavier topics that they really did have to explore and work through, along with some lighter moments of being in summer camp and swimming in the lake and like just being wild together. And I liked it for all of those reasons. I feel like the love story made sense to me from the place of where they met and how long they had known each other, working all the way through that kind of teenage infatuation stage. I feel like even though we did get a love story with some substance, it wasn't taken seriously to the place of it's hard to imagine 16-year-olds or 15-year-olds or whatever having feelings that are so big that they're gonna take over the rest of their lives that don't evolve as they evolve. So not that you can't feel like, obviously as teenagers our feelings are huge, and not that those feelings can't be the same when you're 25, 26, 30, 40, whatever. But I feel like there's an evolution as you begin to learn yourself. Your feelings begin to grow and morph with that. And sometimes that's with the same person and sometimes it isn't. And I feel like this did a fabulous job of exploring that. And I had fun reading it. So even if it didn't hit every literary milestone that YA fiction gets awarded for or whatever, I had a great time when I was in it. And so for that reason, I would definitely suggest or recommend this book. So I gave this 4 stars, and it just so happened that I keep pushing my hair back like that, and it like that's not where it wants to be. I make a playlist every month, like the playlists that are the songs that I'm into for that month, and I actually had a song on my playlist, and every time it would come on I would think of this book, and it tied in so well for me. And then I found out that the person who made the song that I like is Filipino, and the love interest in this is Filipino, and it had a kind of cool tie that I felt like, well, this song ties into this book in more than one way. But for me, the reason why I really, really liked it, or it really felt like this book to me, is because it's another song that I just had a good time listening to. That when it came on, it made me feel happy, fun feelings, and when I read this book, it made me feel happy, fun feelings. And so they tied together for that reason, but also the love interest and then the artist of the song are both Filipino. So this song is called Manila, and it is by Young Coco, and again, I'll place a picture here and a link below if I can. And it is explicit, so if you're somebody who doesn't like curse words or anything like that in songs, then this might not be the one for you to check out. But it is so good. It's a bop. It's like one that reminds me of fun, like summer camp kind of times, has a fantastic beat to it, and it is supporting an artist of color, which I really, really like. And he's not, I haven't heard of him in a lot of places. He's not too popular, so it's really awesome to be able to support him and everything. But yeah, that's a good song for this book, I think. So There are your 2 book reviews on 2 of my most recent reads. I have enjoyed some buttermint tea while talking about them with you. Hopefully you have enjoyed a tea or a beverage listening to my reviews of these books, and I hope that you guys enjoyed the first installment of Tea for Two. Let me know if you like this series. Let me know what other books you'd like to see me review in this series, and I can't wait to see you guys soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.